Okay. So this shape worked. So now what I'm gonna do is put a sketch here and project, because what I want to do is I want to get this on the other side, but first I want to make it printable. So I'm going to project this. Alright. Then I have to put a line from here to here, and then on the other side. And then I have to put a projection of this. And then I have to put a line going from here to here. So now I need to make this 55. Make this equal. Make these two equal. And make this 55. Failed. Oh, because. Yeah. Okay. Did I get... Okay. Yeah, that's the problem there. Another line. These have to both be coincident with this line, and then they have to be equal in length. Okay. I'm going to need to make this extrusion basically go all the way. Okay. What the fuck? What the fuck? There. Okay. Now... kind of hoping I can just cut this stuff off, but I probably can't, because the object has to be... If it'll let me do this. No, okay. So now I have to put planes here. I got so many planes. Okay. Take... Was it this? No. This sketch here. Make it visible. Okay. Cut away this. Starting from here, going to here. Cut away this. starting from, I can start here and go to this one. And then I can take these mirrors, or these planes. This one goes away. This plane and this plane. Alright. Okie dokie. Oh. Oh, hang on. Okay, that would have screwed a bunch of stuff up. Okay. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Start here to here. Start here to here. All right. So now if I rename this to hand wing and then get rid of it, that's what it looks like. Now I just gotta copy it on the other side, and unfortunately I cannot just copy this and then all of these, because if I mirror this feature and all of these and I choose this plane, it's gonna say it can't do it. And the compute failed, and no pattern instances could be intersected with the original body, which is unfortunate. But that's fine. Mirror all of this, select, never mind. Okay. Mirror all of this, select this line. Okay. And then take this one and also include this. I don't need that, and I don't need that. Okay. Now take this, and I should be able to just mirror all of this. Okay. Bring this sketch and put the planes there. Okay. Rename this sketch to hand wing printability planes. Bring this, extrude from the end to the plane, extrude from the end to the plane, extrude this from the end to the plane, extrude this from the end to the plane. All right. Get rid of the stuff there. Now, if I was to do a section analysis, this is what it would look like being printed. The wings are coming up and growing up. They're going out, and then they're going out, or they're going in, and then they're closing. So yeah. So that looks pretty good. Section color from component. What is the angle? What is the flip? Nope, don't do that. I really don't know how to do anything else with the section analysis. All I know is how I get to look inside of the part to make sure that things are where they're supposed to be. This ought to hold it. This ought to be printable. So I know now, let's see, I know that this is going to work, and I made it so that it'll print without supports. I know that these are going to work because they're the same geometry from before. I know that these channels work and that these windows are good. I know that the strap loop is going to work. I do know that the strap loop is going to work because the strap loop is the exact same one as, or is the exact same geometry as the other one that I was testing before I had to redo it from scratch. And that one works just fine. Also, I've got the strap loop on several of my prints by now, and I have actually checked it to make sure that it works. Just not on camera. Let's see. So now all I gotta do is curve. Let's see. Get these edges curved in. And then, ooh. Okay, 0.5 will work. And then chamfer these edges here. Give it something like 2. Nope, 0.5. No, not even that much, because that'll make this feature very, very difficult. Give it something like 0.2. Yeah. Okay. Now let me just measure what that is. 0.81. So that's at least 2 lines. Okay. Now the point of that chamfer was so that it's not digging into my arm when it's there. But also the point of it is so that I can print it with a brim, so that it can print, and then I can cut off the brim, and the brim isn't going to dig into my arm. I feel like I would actually achieve that better if I did chamfer it. If I did chamfer it more. 0.4. That'll bring that down to 0.4. That's 1 line. But if I give it a brim, right, then it'll be fine. But because I'm going to give it a brim, I'm going to go ahead and chamfer all of these as well. But it doesn't have to be quite so severe. Cannot miter near tangent sheet ends. Okay, well then I just won't bother with those ones. I would like to chamfer these edges. So that it'll be, because if I'm giving it a brim, I want to be able to cut away the brim and not have to worry about not having cut away enough, right? So by chamfering the inside there, I should be able to once I cut away the brim, have I could probably explain it better in the slicer. But essentially, the brim is going to stay attached to this until I cut it off. And if I don't cut off precisely, right, then if I don't cut off precisely and the brim was like out to here, right, then when I put in the dual blade, it's going to like interfere, right, like right there. And I don't want that, so... But this ought to be to the point where I can print it and it'll succeed, and I'll give it a lot of lines. I'll give the brim a lot of lines because I want it to not fall over, and I can see this falling over if it takes too long to print. Let's see. Another thing that will reduce... Okay, hang on. I'm going to go ahead and take these edges here. Not that one. Not that one. And then on the other side. So it's kind of good practice to get like all the corners that are on verticals rounded, because it speeds up the print time, and the gentler curves make it less likely for something to like, for like a sharp turn to cause it to like fall or like get knocked. So yeah, that'll work. But oh, you know what? I don't like that. I don't like that because that'll change the geometry of the windows. So I'm gonna keep that. With this, it's you know what? It's fine. It's fine. This ought to be comfortable enough to wear, and it ought to be comfortable enough to print, or sufficient for printing. I've only printed about an inch of it so far, right? But like, or an inch of it at a time so far. And it's something like 3 or 4 inches. How many inches is this? It's like 3 inches. So I've only printed like about a fifth of this, which is fifth of 3, like almost an inch. It ought to finish. It ought to print. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Alright. And hopefully I can get this printed in less than 12 hours. I doubt that. I don't want to increase the print speed. But I do want this to be done fast because I'm kind of getting impatient and I kind of want to use this because it'll be fun. It'll be fun to use this. I'm looking forward to it being finished. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and put this in the slicer and get it printed. Since all the finishing touches are done and the man, I hope this doesn't fail, because this is a big print. Well, I'll get it printed. I'll get it sliced and printed. Alright. Okay, let me open up my newer sleeve. Yeah, okay. Now this one, it shouldn't matter where I put the bottom. That will be the bottom. And this will be gulp. 14 hours. And I don't want a skirt, I want a brim, and I'm going to give the brim like 10 lines. It's a big brim, but it will help me not to, it'll help it not to fall over. Oh, that's a lot of traveling. Look at all those travels. Okay, so the travels are in this blue. You can practically see the shape of it with just the travels. Shell, infill, helpers. Okay, yeah. Right, just the travels, you can see it. If you do just the shell looks pretty funny. Most of this is shell, actually. Infill. There's very little actual infill. It's mostly, yeah, it's mostly where the, it's mostly outside of the life point counters. So this is what it'll look like. So if I show it being printed from bottom to top, that's layer 1, 2 go blah blah blah, 3, 34 layers, 86 layers in, and we're starting the first, not starting, we're well into the first life points window. Second life points window about 100 layers up. That's going for about 160 layers. Their life points window goes till about 200, then about 260, and then about... The life points stop at 324. I'm confident that all of the life points will finish, or that all of the life point counters will finish. You can see the channels here, right? Going up and around each other. Okay, I need to look for something that might fail. Let me do support. I will click on generate support. Support overhang angle is 60. That is because I am a cheapskate. But at 60 it starts to look ugly. But nothing wants support. Now at 60 it starts to look ugly. That doesn't mean it is ugly. It just... Anything past 60 and you've got a chance of it being kind of ugly on the bottom. That is with this printer, with my personal printer here. I really think... So like if I was going to like make this for other people's printers, I would probably change that overhang here to 45 degrees. Because pretty much 99% of 3D printers can get 45 degrees. So and what speed? I'm not going to change the speed, but what speed am I going at? 40 millimeters a second? That's why it's taking 15 hours. Okay. Oh look, it wants to put support columns at the very edges here. I mean, that's acceptable, but like if you look at where these support columns are, they're kind of useless. What they will do is they'll help. So what this one will do is it'll help the first couple of life point windows from failing, probably. Though to be honest, all that traveling around might actually make things worse. I'm gonna turn off support. It'll be fine this way. Like, yeah, it'll be fine. Oh my goodness, that added like 40 minutes. 44 minutes. Okay. I don't know what this is about. I don't know what this is about. Like, the outermost walls are red. These outside bits are printed as yellow, or are displayed as yellow, so they're like inside walls. But like, they're not on the outside, or they're not on the inside. They're on the outside. Right? There's nothing inside of them. There's only one. See? There's only one wall here. That's probably... Oh, I see. No, I don't see. I still don't get it. But yeah. What is this layer? That's interesting. Look, this one's going in. This one's not. It's barely going in. Okay, so you know what that means? That means I have to go back in Fusion and change something real quick. Hit home, so it's this side. It was this one. Now let me change this. I'm gonna put an arc here. Actually, no, I'm just gonna put a line in here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get this and also have that. Okay. So now, okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and save this again and replace it and see if that fixed the problem. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it appears to have fixed that problem. Oh no! Oh, that's not good. Now, see, look, it saw this and made that part of its internals. Okay. Oops, wrong sketch. So I'm gonna have to go back in here again and put that. Like, okay. Can I project this? Offset this by negative 0.8. That's where the wall would be. So as long as I get this... Ah, I see. I see, okay. This has to go here. And then, now that that's there, I can probably just delete this. And then this is still there. Alright, this is gonna probably change. Oh, okay. If I change this, it's got okay. So now if I save this and replace it, and then I reload it in Fusion, or not in Fusion, in Cura. Okay, good. Okay, good. And then I'll bring this up. Okay, good. So I gotta make sure that all these channel. Okay, so layer 1, and then I'm gonna look at these one layer at a time, scrolling up. I'm gonna close that so I can see more clearly. Okay. And then that's good. Everything looks good. Okay. Okay. And we're good. Okay. Make sure that hole is in there for the... Yep, okay. Okay, so I fixed that problem. That would have... Okay, so what would have happened there is, since it wasn't connected on that side, right, is it would have caused this wing to eventually have fallen off because it wasn't connected. It would have been... It was connected at the bottom or something, right? It was connected at, like, this point here, but not here, and so it would have fallen off eventually because it would have had a really weak connection point. So I'm glad that I caught that, because that would have been a horrible error to have in a 14-hour print. It also... That fix also reduced my print time by like 8 minutes, probably because it got a smaller surface area on account of... Yeah, that's probably what it is. It has less surface area. I've noticed that, like, especially when you have a low infill, what is my infill set at? It's like stupidly low. It's like 2.5%. Yeah. If you have a really low infill, right, then the print time's biggest factor is surface area. The two biggest factors are the surface area, right, of the part, and the height of it, right. right? So changing the volume won't necessarily do much. Changing the surface area will. So like if this was the same volume but a sphere, it would take a lot less time to print. But a sphere would be useless for this purpose. So yeah. It is a good thing I caught that. That's why you gotta slice the files and actually look at the G code, because you can catch things that you didn't catch before. See, look, I don't know how to get rid of it, but this has got, look. This is what's causing it. This is what's causing it. Look, no, that's not. Or it could be. But look, it's got, see that? See that weird random going in that it's doing? That is because of these. And I don't know where these came from. If I could figure out where these came from, I'd get rid of them. But I can't. But that path going around like that is because of these lines here that are in there for some reason. Getting rid of that would greatly reduce the print time again, because it would get rid of this surface area here. It would probably also take off another 8 minutes. But I can't figure out how to get rid of it, so whatever. And then look, it's gone by the top. I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever. Okay, I think this is good. Do one more check just to be sure. Yeah, I think this is good. I worry about it. Jiggling. This probably isn't going to jiggle though. I've seen things jiggle. I've seen parts jiggle and still come out flawless. Right, like, because it's a bed slinger, right? I got a bed slinger printer, so it's gonna be the actual part is gonna be moving back and forth, right? But I've seen parts jiggle on this and come out flawless, and I'm like, how did that even happen? Somehow the jiggling was irrelevant, but you still don't want it to jiggle. I think this will succeed. This will take how much? 66 grams of filament. It'll cost $2. That's, I believe, at $30 a kilogram, right? Let me check. Is it in... No, I think it's in preferences. Materials. Yeah, I set it at $30 a kilogram. I mean, it says euros, but like, I'm just pretending that a euro is $1, so I don't have to do any conversion. So yeah, $30 a kilogram, $2. For me though, I spent about $15 on this filament, so that's basically $1. Assuming it succeeds first try. This might take several tries to get it to finish. I hope it doesn't, but it might. I did notice on my latest print, on the my latest test piece, the one where I was testing the wing shape just now, there was some brown in there. Brown as in burnt brown, not brown as in brown color. So I will keep an eye on that. I'm going to have to check, make sure it didn't get clogged. It probably didn't get clogged. I think it burnt the glue. I use glue stick on my print bed because it's a bad surface to stick to. So I use non-toxic glue stick so that it's food safe. Because PLA is food safe. It's funny, I saw this guy say that, like, that like if you want to make food safe stuff with a 3D printer, you can, but you got to post process it, which that yes, but also not necessarily. But you have to be willing to sanitize. You should post process. But then he says don't use glue stick because then that chemical is not going to be food safe. And it's like they make non-toxic glue sticks, and non-toxic glue sticks stick to PLA. It's fine, you know. Like they specifically make non-toxic glue sticks because children eat glue sticks, you know. Just get the non-toxic ones. It'll be food safe. It's fine. I think people get all hung up on the food safe part because like the layer lines, they do add in a little bit of difficulty with cleaning, but just soak it in like a disinfectant for a while. PLA doesn't really dissolve in very much. It's not like you're going to damage it if you put it in a disinfectant and soak it in a disinfectant for a while. So like it's fine, you know, it's fine. But this isn't... I'm not eating off of this one. This one doesn't have to be food safe. This is for playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to call it Newer Sleeve. Okay. And I will go ahead and get it printed. Okay, so I got the sleeve printed, the whole sleeve. I put the Duel Blade in it. And it is now in there permanently because I can't get it out, which is almost what I intended. I did want to be able to get it out. I mean, I didn't want it to be in there like and not be able to get it out, but I did want it to stay, so that's good. That it'll stay and not fall out, right? And I can't see myself wanting an upgrade over this. Unless I come up with another feature that I want to add. In that case, I'll have to make a new segment 5, because it's too tight for me to pull it out. I can put it on, and as long as this wristband isn't in the way, and I get it tight enough, it's good. All of these tracks for the life point counters, they work. This middle one on my side works the worst, but it does work. It's pretty difficult to get it in to begin with, and then it slides in pretty tough. But it does slide in, and it will go to 0, but it's tough. So, yeah. That's not much of an issue, but it is something I'm going to address in a minute. This right here, it works. You can put the whole hand in it. Let me see. And it's actually easier if you can get it. It's actually easier to use for the whole hand to use just the end there, because it's rather tight. I forgot again, right? I always forget this. When you make these clips longer, they get stronger. But you can just put them in here and it works. So that's good. And for just one card, right, you just put them in there and it works. I'm glad that this is angled because it means that there's a secondary way of getting in it, right? It's good. It's pretty good. I'm going to call that incidental foresight because I didn't think that the angle was going to add an advantage to this, but it did. So yeah, you can do it, and then you can do it on the other side too. I'm going to grab it. Like that. Oh, they fell out because they didn't go all the way in. But when they do go all the way in, like so, you've got the whole hand in there, and it stays on, and you can open it, and you can close it. And it's not too much taller than the previous sleeve had it. It is taller, but it's not that much taller. Like, it's still not gonna get in the way of anything, right? Like, I can do a lot more with this than any character on Yu-Gi-Oh can do with their dual discs. So this Duel Blade is honestly a superior design. So the sleeve is done, but now I have to work on the life point counters, which I don't have to do much work on them. So the issue, right, the reason why some of these tracks, hang on, let me take this all the way off. The reason why some of these tracks are better than others is because when this was printing, these little dividers are horizontal. And so what that means is some of the filament kind of droops down, and some of the filament that's drooping down is inside the track, right? So I can't fix that because I can't get in there to clean it up. So the solution is to make these life point counters slightly thinner. And again, they already work at the size they're at, but they'll work better if they're ever so slightly thinner. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is make these ever so slightly thinner. And I'm going to also make this part a little bit more comfortable to use. It's not uncomfortable to use in the slightest, but I'll make it just a little bit better, just since I can, right? Because when I put it all the way in, right, it's, yeah, okay. You can grab it easily, but I'd like to give it a little bit of a curve there so that it's not like a sharp thing, you know? Because again, human hands are going to touch this and probably press on it, so might as well make it softer to the touch, less sharp, less hurty, you know? The blade is permanently in the sleeve, unfortunately, but also fortunately, because I did want it to stay. This is kind of lame and sucky that happens, but that has happened. That has always been happening on the other ones, and that's not the sleeve's fault. That's the blade's fault. It just means that I can't go hurrah, you know. But I never go hurrah, anyways. So yeah, the sleeve is done. I just need to fix up the life point counters real quick, and then that should get it done. Also, it would probably be a good idea for me to print the life point counters in a different color. I think the only color I have enough of to do that is brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna try and print them in brown. And also, these numbers, they're in the text, they're in the font that I designed to be easily printed. That doesn't mean it's easy to print, because it's still a very complicated first layer. It's still a very complicated layer, right? And it needs to stick. If it doesn't stick, it will fail. If the first layer does not stick, it will fail. On something like this, if the first layer peels here or there, it can be saved. This will fail, because this is 2 layers thick. So if the first layer doesn't stick, there's no time to save it. But it's still easier to print than any other text I've ever tried to use. So my font works. It just doesn't work as well as I'd hoped, but it does work at least as well as I need it to, which is fine. It works better than anything else, so that's that. Anyways, I just need to thin these out and round that off, and that'll be it, I think. It's going to take forever to get these printed because I got to print them one at a time, and there are 10 of them to print, and then also I need to babysit every single one of them to make sure that they don't fail. But once I get them printed, I will have a fully functioning, I will have my Duel Blade that has features that the Dual Disc toys, the official toys, do not have. And every feature that the toys do have. Right? I mean, the toys also have a dealer on them, but I also have a dealer. It's just a separate piece, right? Because it's easier that way. And more convenient to the user as well. Because I actually designed this to be used, whereas they designed it to be a cosplay piece. So I think it's cool though because I did a better job than the Japanese toy designers could. Although the Japanese toy designers had the constraint of making it look accurate to the show, but I can do that too. Just you wait. I can do that too. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna look very cool because I now have the mechanism for. I now have the mechanism for modern rule compliance. I have the life point counter. I have a dealer. I even have a place to put your hand cards, which are not on the dual discs. One of these days, I'm gonna just make one that looks like they look in the show, and it's gonna be awesome. And at that point, I can truly say that I actually did do a better job than the Japanese toy designers, because I will have been working under those same constraints. But also they had to make it manufacturable under traditional manufacturing techniques, and I have a 3D printer. 3D printers can make impossible geometries, like these tracks are impossible geometries. There is no traditional manufacturing technique that can make this. This has to be 3D printed. So, but I can make a different style that is manufacturable under traditional techniques. But I won't do that because I like this. This is pretty cool. I like how this works, because like it looks identical on both sides. See? But it's not because this one, right? Let me see. This is the side that, no, yeah, this one goes over top of the other one. So it's not quite, it doesn't have bilateral symmetry, but it looks like it has bilateral symmetry. But the same thing applies to humans. We have bilateral symmetry on the outside, but then our hearts are slightly to the left, and then our stomachs are not quite centered. We have livers and spleens that aren't in both sides. But anyways, the sleeve works. All I have to do is get all of these printed and fixed up.